Oh, hello there. This is Kit from the Tualatin Public Library, and I'm trying to learn geometry again so I can help my daughter. And it's been over 20 years since I've done some geometry, and I just find that I'm having a little hard time visualizing the shapes, particularly with word problems. So I've got to figure out some way to make it so I can see these better. Oh, I know. How about you help me out and we'll create a Geoboard, which uses push pins and a foam board and some rubber bands to help us see shapes that are being described to us. Let's get started. All right, to start our project, here's all the stuff we'll need. We'll start with some foam board. I got this from the dollar store. It's just pretty typical foam board. You'll need two of them because they need to be thick enough for the push pins to push through and not push through the back. Then you're going to need some glue. I'm using Mod Podge and something to spread it around with, or however you want to smear the glue. We'll need some duct tape, and then we're going to need some graph paper, 4 by 4, equal to an inch. That would be the best. And then a pencil to draw out your shape, scissors obviously to cut it out, and then a craft knife. This is to cut your foam board down to the size that you need. All right. So to begin with, we're looking at our graph paper here. Since it's 4 squares to an inch, and I want to make it 8 inch by 8 inch, I don't know why I wrote 64. It would be 32 inches per, or 32 squares per side. So I went ahead and measures those out, and then cut it out, and there you go. That is my 32 by 32 square. And we're going to use that to draw the outline on our foam board. I find it's easier to do that because this shape doesn't have to be super, super exact since we're going to be wrapping the edges in duct tape. All right, cut our shape. I generally cut halfway through and then pick it up to cut the last bit. If you have a cutting board to cut on, like one of those healing mats, it's probably the best. But, this is relatively safe. All right, you put the glue on. We're going to glue those two pieces together and just situate it on there. And then we just have to let it dry for 15 minutes or so. All right, when we come back, we've got our piece of paper. Make sure that they're roughly still the same size. Everything looks pretty good there. And that's when we're going to go and grab our duct tape. Now with the duct tape, we're going to pull out a piece that's roughly, just a little bit wider than the side. We don't want to get too wide because we're going to end up having to cut more off. And you can just tear it. And you're going to try and line it up with that first row of squares as best as you can. It'll look neater if you do that way. And it'll make it easier to spot where you need to start with your pins later. I recommend cutting off the corners here and try to straighten them out as much as you can. You might have to come back later and take little pieces of duct tape to make sure that they stay down. Mine had a tendency to stick out a little bit at first. And then you get to that last place, make sure you're pulling up from the middle. That makes it easier to keep the paper straight. And then there you have it. And now it's time to put the pins in. So we're going to pour in a little bit of glue in a bowl. You'll notice this is actually my mold for my bath bombs, but yeah, whatever, it works. And then we're going to start at the very corner. So we're going to leave one strip of squares on either side. That will be the exact place you want to start to make this an even. And then you're going to go 4 squares over like I was counting. And there we go. You just dip in the glue and stick in. Make sure it stays in nice, sticks in nice and firm. And you're just going to keep that up. Do whatever pattern of pins that you would like. I was going to do a red, blue, or red, green, yellow, blue pattern, and then I realized I didn't have enough yellow. So I improvised. And that's how I ended up with white in it, but however you look. And nice thing, if you do it in the way I'm doing it here, is you generally only have to worry about where 2 of the pins go. Otherwise, you're just looking for the next, the one that corners from the other 2. Make sure you are pushing these in firmly so that the glue has a chance to stick to the bottom of the pin. since it is foam board, it will get wiggly after a while, so you want to make sure that these are glued in, especially if you're going to have little ones. Well, not little ones, but school age kids messing with it because you know that they're going to pull and yank on those things when they're putting the rubber bands on. And that's what we're going to use for this to show your shapes is you're going to put rubber bands or strings around these to show area and the pictures of the shapes. And it's amazing how much easier this makes it. Here, I'll give you an example. See, now that we've got the pegboard down, then I'm looking for a particular shape for a problem that is being described to me. So I put in the rubber bands into the shape, which in this case happens to be a square, and with a angle just dissecting it, and it's easier to see. Of course, if you get done with this and you're done with geometry, you can also turn this into a work of art. Okay, so you have a square that's 4 by 4, and there's a line that's running from angle to angle. Okay, now I see. Now it'll be much easier to do that problem. That was super fun, and I will definitely be using this for art later, but for now, I will help my daughter. I hope this helps you guys too. This is Kit from the Tualatin Public Library, hoping that all your calculations are simple and that 2020 is over soon.